Hi everyone, I wanted to give you a little update on what I've been up to recently. Like so many other people, I've unexpectedly had some extra free time on my hands and I've been putting it to good use. For quite a long time now I've been wanting to bring the AGA Minimig core to the Turbo Chameleon 64, and I'm finally seeing some results in that regard. So that's what I'm going to show you now. What's loading up now is basically an image of the hard drive from my old Amiga 4000, which I had back in the day, and now transferred to SD card. It's running a double NTSC workbench in 16 colours for speed, an AGA copper list down the left hand side. So yeah, let's have a look at what's new. We've got the on-screen menu as before. Under chipset you see we now have AGA as an option. The CPU setting is as before, 68000, 68010 or 020. The TG68 has had some major improvements recently which has improved compatibility quite a bit, so I don't think it's really fair to call it 020 Alpha anymore. Turbo, that lets you now choose between Turbo Chip RAM, Turbo Kickstart or both, and the Turbo Chip RAM option is more reliable than it used to be, so it should be something you can leave enabled most of the time. CD32 pad, that doesn't currently do anything, but in the longer term I could potentially map some extra buttons to the CDTV infrared controller, or maybe some keyboard mapping as well. We shall see. But on the memory page, Action Replay is gone. We now have HRTmon instead because it actually works on newer and more capable emulated machines. So yeah, that's basically the menus. Not a great deal has changed there. So let's load up something more interesting. So the go on good old Slam Tilt. If you're hoping to see some expert play here, you're going to be disappointed, but have a quick go just to prove that everything works. It'd be nice to get into the multi-ball, but I rather doubt I'll be able to do that while the camera's rolling. Yeah, I don't think multi-ball is going to happen, but I just have to take my word for it that the high-res screen mode does work. Okay, well that's enough slam tilt. Proves that it works. So let's try something else. But with no startup sequence. And let's run a demo that needs AGA. So while that's running, I'll just talk a little bit more about where we're going with the project. There's still a fair bit to do, but I hope I'll be able to put out a beta test version in the fairly near future. In the past, a few people have suggested to me that I set up some kind of virtual tip jar so that people can contribute if they wish, and so yeah, I'm going to do that because I have put a fair amount of time into this recently, and everyone I've spoken to so far has told me I should be putting up a Patreon page as well, so I might just as well do that. So if anyone wants to support on a monthly basis, that's fine, they can use Patreon. Anyone who'd prefer to just make a one-off donation, that's also fine. I'm not planning to paywall anything because I don't particularly like it when other people do that. What I will do though is if anyone makes a contribution of let's say more than £20 as a one-off donation, or the next to lowest tier on Patreon, then I'll include their names in a list of contributors in the About dialogue of any projects I release while they're a supporter, or the next one after a one-off donation. So yeah, I shall publish details of that in the near future, and hopefully this will be the first of several more cores to come. There are plenty to choose from. There's an Atari core, well there's more than one Atari core on the Mist board which could be ported. Next 186, I still want to do some work on that and do a proper release. There's any number of arcade cores that could be ported. There's the Acorn Archimedes core. So yeah, there's plenty to choose from, and hopefully plenty more that will come to the Chameleon in due course.